Hey everybody. All right, the total rewiring of this 33 street rod. Go to wide angle. The Lease Electronics street rod kit, and that's what I'm working on. The Holley Terminator X is already installed, fully installed, and as I was saying, that's the easy part. So this is installed, except for the inputs and outputs are being worked on. I've got the tail lights, the tail light blinking, the brake lights. I have the wires run up front for headlights and blinking, so I'm going to finish that today. The next thing is there's windows up and down, the power windows up and down. So I have this already terminated to the passenger door, and I got a same thing over there terminated so that it'll make it easy for me to wire up the driver's side up and down and for windows and door unlatch. And anyway, that's to be worked on. There's, look at the interior. Everything goes to that, is operated by that center console. There's the Terminator X. So this is the state of the car. Under dash, there will be no wiring. Everything was under dash previously. The air conditioner still will be there. The fuel rail is moved out of the way on purpose here so that it doesn't hit the firewall back here. This is a very tight system. Very tight setup. All right, so yesterday I spent and dedicated my time to getting my car. I haven't done nothing to the engine for this year. Hopefully it'll continue to run strong. It's got a mild street solid roller cam in a 383. It was running like low 12s last year with a 4L60E that kind of was getting worn out. I spent the time, I've never had my neutral safety switch wired up legally until yesterday. So I finally, I'm not going to show you, but this car I bought as it was with a nice, more performance blower motor, everything as it sits with the roll cage and a fire system and this shifter. It had a turbo 400. It had a gear vendor's overdrive, forced induction. It was set up really nice, but I actually became frustrated with all of that. And many, many years ago, after I got this, I took that all out and I made it more of an all-natural car, as it is to this day. But this never had its neutral safety. I wired that up yesterday, and it wasn't. I took the center console out, and I saw that it had the wiring in there. It's a real nice, like BNC screw-in connection, 3 wires out. One for the Transbrake, one for that gives 12 volts for starter neutral safety. It only gives 12 volts in park and 12 volts in neutral. The rest of the time it doesn't. So then you interface that in to the car's circuit. So I used the relay with the car's, I guess it's a orange wire, the big huge wires that are behind the footwell here. The output, the output goes to the starter solenoid. Input goes to a relay. The input for this goes to a relay. It's set up so that that relay is only activated when 12 volts from the shifter comes to it. Then that will allow you to turn the key for start, which sends 12 volts to the relay, passes it to, well, it's a simple wiring setup. Here, let me show you. Just got to follow the instructions on this. The schematic for that I wired it up exactly as shown here in their instructions. The output from the the key ignition to pin 86, and of course ground here. So that activates when when you turn it to crank. But it will not do a thing until the shifter is in park or neutral, which when this, let's say it's in first gear, nothing's going to happen. 87's getting no signal. So when it's in park or neutral, 12 volts right here is available, so that when you turn the key, the 12 volts are available to go straight to the starter. Right there. Anyway, that was what I did yesterday. If you were at all interested. But today it's all 33 Ford. All right, today all 33 Ford street rod. Working my leash electronics. The entire car got a total rewiring. Only one or two things were left that is original wiring, and that's like the transmission, shift indicator, but everything else is total new rewiring. I'm going to use the power probe to see where the wiring is bad. It's like terminations. I had to do a jumper. The low beams, high beams come to here, and then I jumper it or duplicate the wiring. One goes this way, one goes that way. So I'm sure my termination isn't so good. Let's see what kind of angle you got here. All right. So where is the malfunction? I'll bring you in closer. All right, look. The wire in question, I connected up to that other light. That other, the light, it was working. There'll be continuity because that goes to ground. So to see if the wire is okay between here and there, I can just do the power probe to the blue wire, and there's continuity, and I can give it 12 volts and it lights over there. So there's nothing loose. The pin, well, I should maybe re-terminate it because I've kind of boogered up that pin. I bet you it'll work then. I'll just re-terminate it. I'm hoping there's enough, there's enough wire slack. That's what I'll do. Excuse me. And a little at the insulation there. Oh, this is cockeyed. Check that out. Huh. Boy, you think this system would be perfect. I don't know why it went in cockeyed. Anyway. Okay. Now, I'm going to power probe. I'm going to power probe back here. See if the light works. See if I can get that to light up over here. Okay, all right. So, in theory, it ought to work. That one too, okay. In theory, it ought to work. What was the connection? It had to have been at, as far as I could tell, it was at the actual junction, so those pins probably weren't engaged very well. Just wanted to demonstrate the actual time-saving utility of this thing, that tool there. Hopefully, I'll be able to see just with the reflection. Okay. I can see. And both together. Success. Check out the blinker too. Well, key has to be. That was without. I have lights wired. You know, you don't have to have key on, but I got key on now, and here's blinker. And blinker. Let's see if lights work. Yep. Key out. Does do hazards work? Yay! Success? Oh, that was. Yep, that actually was key on, and hazards still work with key off, like they're supposed to. All right. Success for this. Now I'll label it and trim it and tie it, secure it, and be done with that. Then onward to the doors. After this, it's the doors up and down, the windows up and down. Lewis, another video for you. Let's turn the lights on. Are we on high beams? Looks like we are. Not anymore. All right, check this out. This is the Transbrake wire that goes to the Transbrake. Shifter in first. Launch. Shifter in reverse. Okay. In reverse, you have to do that. Otherwise, it works. And then first. So anyway, reverse or first with this down. Then second gear, third gear. All right, everybody. Hey, I wanted to show a success video. I've had this shifter. I've had this car for quite a while. I did not do the initial install. It was very well done. It's never had the park neutral safety switch. I have a Turbo 400 in there right now. I've been running a 4L60. Anyway, the Turbo 400 doesn't have any fluid in it. Anyway, I finally studied up on this shifter. I found the wiring for it, and I wired up the starter park neutral safety. Also, I ran the Transbrake wire to the Transbrake, but that's for a later date. Anyway, park neutral safety on these aftermarket shifters, a lot of times it gets forgotten. So it's for, if you're in reverse, you can't start it. If you're in first or second or third, you can't start it. Let's see. It's in first right now. Will not start. It's in reverse. Nope, no start. Okay. Now I'm not going to start. I'm just going to engage the starter because I'm in the garage. It's in park. Whoop. And, all right. So it worked. It's in neutral. All right. It does work. So, another thing for the Transbrake thing, it's in first gear. I did not know it. I was probing around on the signals, and in first and reverse, it's Transbrake's supposed to be activated reverse so that you can back up. Well, anyway, in first, so you can engage the Transbrake, it turns out you have to squeeze, this and this. This combo has to be squeezed. That engages, that sends 12 volts to the Transbrake. And so if I'm launching as if I'm at the starting line and I'm in a class that you can use a Transbrake, first gear, full throttle right now, Transbrake applied, ready to launch, you just let go. Then second gear, third gear, finish line, you're done. Carl L. Engines, take care.